and gentlemen, please welcome into the arena your first division. It is being led into the arena by the Ground Pounders from Granite Falls, Minnesota. One of a handful of Minnesota hitches you're going to see tonight. This is their home turf. We hope you cheer loud and proud. Next into the arena, we are going to be welcoming the entry of the Yoder family. Yoder Hay and Horses joining us from Colorado. There will be 4 entries in this division. Our third entry, this is the entry of the Pittman Percherons, another hitch joining us from right here in the land of Minnesota. Claremont, Minnesota, home to the Pittmans. And our final entry in this division is going to take us to Ohio. Do we have any Ohio fans with us tonight? All right, Ohio is going to be represented in our final entry. It is the entry of the Flat Rock Draft Horses. Greg and Mike Rowe on the seat. This is your division with 4 entries. Drivers, you are now under the judge's eye at the trot. And no need to be quiet, Minnesota. We're going to cheer these hitches on. And we are going to start our reverse with the Ground Pounders. That fresh arena, you will see how they make that diagonal cut going straight across. It's going to look like they're going head-to-head with the opposing teams, but they are going to pull to the right, finding their spot on the rail, working the opposite way. Ground Pounders leading our reverse. Tonight, we are also going to be awarding our final fan of the night, so keep cheering loud and proud. And we're going to come down to the walk now. All entries are working the second way of the arena at the walk. And now trot on. Drivers back at the trot, please. All trot. The Ground Pounder entry will be lining up as you make your way around. Joe going to be leading our hitches into the lineup. Well, ladies and gentlemen, heat number 1 now in the center arena. Let's make them feel welcome. Our first of 28 entries. 28 entries. Our judge, Mr. Ray Houston, going to review each entry. He's watched them working on the rail, studying the action, the movement, the way they work together. 3 individual teams, but consistency is king when judging our draft horse shows. These multiple hitches need to work as a unit, and our judge watching at the different gaits, the walk, the trot, watching on the reverse, watching in the pulling in for the lineup, and now taking a look at each entry, and of course asking to back. Once again, looking for a smooth transition. Our first entry in the lineup is the entry of Ground Pounders, and as I said, they are a hitch from right here in the great state of Minnesota. They're joining. Next in the lineup is the entry of the Yoder family, Yoder Hay and Horse Company. Joining us from West Cliff, Colorado, Mr. Enos Yoder doing the driving. This class again open to the mares and the geldings. It is the Super, the Supreme 6-horse hitch, all coming together. The Pittman Percherons now on the spotlight with our judge. They are joining us from Claremont, Minnesota, owned by Roger Pittman and his family. That is Mark doing the driving. And our final contestant in this section of our 6-horse hitches is the entry of flat draft horses. That is the entry of the Rowe brothers. Joining us from Ohio, Mr. Greg Rowe doing the driving. As part of this class, our judge also reviewing all of the feet, the foundation of these horses, the underpinning. We'll be awarding our best shod 6-horse hitch as well as the most uniform from one stable group of horses. All right, our judge making some notes on his card. When we split this into 6 different sections, he's got to take well notes to make his final placings. We're going to open the gates, and we're going to start with Mr. Greg Rowe and the entry from the Flat Rock. They're going to be we're going to send them out to their right. We will see everybody back in for final placings, but ladies and gentlemen, they have had a long week. This is their time to shine. I want you to take each and every one of them out with a nice round of applause. Flat Rock draft horses making their way out first. We're going to take it back to Claremont, Minnesota to welcome the Pittman Percherons into the arena. The Yoder family hay and horses coming all the way from Colorado with Enos driving. And we're going to take our last entry out. That is the entry of the Ground Pounders. They are representing Granite Falls, Minnesota, owned by the Fagan family with Mr. Joe Dolan exhibiting. Heat number 2, it's going to get a little tighter in here. We're going to have 5 entries in heat number 2. Once again, we're going to make it an international event as our friends from the north going to be participating in this division. 5 entries will make their way in. Heat number 2 making their way in. Our ground crew working diligently to get everyone in safely. Remember that fan of the night. We're watching to see who's cheering. Here they come, ladies and gentlemen. Heat number 2 making their way in. All the way from Stevensville, Montana, we are welcoming the Yoder Sand and Gravel. Mr. Myron Yoder doing the driving. We're welcoming the Strawberry Lane Percherons into the arena. Mr. Brian Coleman doing the driving, representing the province of Alberta, Canada, and the great state of Wisconsin. We're going to take it to Manitoba, Canada with the Silver Oak Percherons. Ethan exhibiting for the Strain family. Next into the arena, we're going to take it to Team Canada, Red Oak Farms, Canada, with Mr. Wishy Bush. One more entry. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this is Red Oak Farms Team USA with Jason Hansberger. We have 2 Red Oak teams going head-to-head in the same division. Drivers on the rail at the trot. The Yoder Sand and Gravel entry with Myron will be leading our reverse. Our drivers gathering up those lines, making the turn, making the diagonal cut, starting with the Yoder Gravel. And we're going to bring you down to the walk now. Drivers now at the walk, please. All walk. And we're going to move you back into the trot. All moving back at the trot, drivers. This is their final lap. The Yoder Sand and Gravel will be starting our lineup. When you get to the corner, we'll be lining up down at Merv's direction, please. Starting with the Yoder entry, our driver is coming in for the lineup. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a very fast-paced section for heat number 2. Give them a nice round of applause. Our first entry for our judge to review, and again, that judge is going to walk past each entry in each of these divisions. He's taking a closer look now at the presence of each of these exhibitors. The horses, the harness, the wagon, it is all part. When it comes to this caliber of horsepower, it might come down to that nitty-gritty. And I know our exhibitors have worked hard to present the best possible performance with their horses. The wagons are clean, the harnesses are clean, and it all does matter for our final judging. Yoder Sand and Gravel makes the trip from Montana to be here. They are the first-time exhibitors at a World Percheron Congress, and we appreciate Jake and his family being here. Son Myron doing the driving. Next in the lineup is the entry of Strawberry Lane Percherons. They are the equine ambassadors for scleroderma awareness. They are traveling all across North America. Mr. Brian Coleman, the driver and the managers, owned by Mr. Greg Lurvey and family. Bringing our international flair into the arena from Virden, Manitoba, we are welcoming the Silver Oak Percherons, the Strain family, very active in the Percheron industry. Son Ethan doing the driving of our 6-horse hitch. And when we talk about bringing an international flair to our competition, Mr. Wishy Bush, the driver of the next hitch, very proud to have 2 hitches in the arena. Wishy himself is driving the team for Team Canada, Red Oak Team Canada, representing Quebec, Canada, with Wishy doing the driving. And our final entry in this division is Red Oak Farms Team USA, coming from Ohio, with Mr. Jason Hansberger doing the driving. And remember, our judge looking for our best shod hitch, also our most uniform hitch. Making notes on his card. We are 2 heats out of 6 into our championship night. All right, we are going to be opening the gates and starting with Jason. We'll be sending these hitches out to their right. Red Oak Team USA going to make their way out. You will notice our judge does not stop judging. It's too deep of water for him to miss anything. He is going to watch these horses coming in, working, and going out of the arena. Jason going out with Red Oak Farms USA. Mr. Wishy Bush making his way out with Red Oak Farms Team Canada. Ethan doing the driving for the Strain family and the Silver Oak Percherons. Mr. Brian Coleman and his daughter Taylor on the seats for the Strawberry Lane Percherons. And making their way out, our final entry in this division, that is the entry of Yoder Sand and Gravel with Mr. Myron Yoder doing the driving. We do want to send a huge thank you to our ground crew working out there. We have the job of making it look like it just flows in here, but that is because of that crew that works out back diligently to get the numbers organized, to get the hitches in and out. And without those gentlemen, it would not be the show that it is. So thank you going out to the Iowa boys and the Hegemans who work diligently in the back. Our next section, heat number 3, is going to have 5 entries as well. 5 more entries for heat number 3 ready to make their way in. And don't forget about that People's Choice Award. We're going to have our fan of the night recognized. So cheer loud and proud. Heat number 3 will be coming in momentarily. Heat number 3 making their way in. Miss Kinza Zubrod leading this hitch, joining us from Guthrie, Oklahoma. Our second entry making their way through the chutes. Joining us from Indiana, Dutch Country Organics with Mr. Mark Hostetler. From the state of Colorado, we're welcoming the Clark Family Orchards, the entry owned by Dennis and Stacy, with Mr. Scott Banga doing the driving. The Dapple Grays making the way into the arena representing the state of Illinois. Gray Thunder Percherons, the Wilcox family entry with Josh doing the driving. From Clear Lake, Wisconsin, we are welcoming the Black Brook Percherons. Mr. Johnny Josephson doing the driving. All moving on the rail at the trot, please. All moving at the trot. And the Zubrod Percherons will be starting our reverse. Kenseth going to lead these hitches into the reverse. Our drivers make it look smooth as they make that diagonal cut. And we're going to come down to the walk, please, drivers. We're going to walk these entries. Walk is the natural gait of our draft horses. You see they going from the trot down to the walk. And we're going to pick you now back up, drivers, into the trot. All trot on. Kenseth is going to start our lineup as she comes around. Kenseth making her ground to find her spot in the center arena, leading these hitches into the lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, heat number 3 now in the arena. Let's make them feel welcome. In this division, again, our judge watching closely to see how our horses perform together, how they work as a unit. Our first entry in the lineup for our judges' review, that is the entry brought to us from our mare division. These are the Percheron mares. It is the entry of the Zubrod Percherons. They make the trip from Guthrie, Oklahoma. And we have Miss Kenseth Zubrod, our only female driver in our 6-horse hitch competition at this show, and she does a great job. She is now our first entry to work for the judge. Next in the lineup, we are welcoming the entry of Dutch Country Organics. They make the trip from Middlebury, Indiana. This is their first World Percheron Congress. We're thankful to have them. Mr. Mark Hostetler, the manager and the driver. Next, we are going to be welcome number 1871. That is the entry of the Clark Family Orchards, making the trip from Colorado to be a part of our show, owned by Dennis and Stacy Clark, with Mr. Scott Banga doing the driving. Representing the land of Lincoln, we have joining us from Illinois. It is those very fancy dapple gray Percherons brought to us by Gray Thunder Percherons. That is the Wilcox family. Mr. Josh Wilcox doing the driving. And our final entry, the entry of Blackbrook Percherons. They make the trip from Clear Lake, Wisconsin, owned by the Josephson family. Mr. John Josephson doing the driving tonight. Heat number 3, now under our judge's eye, both on the rail and in the lineup. Our judge, Mr. Ray Houston, going to be marking his card, making some decisions. We do want to remind any of our sponsors here tonight, after our performances, you are more than welcome to take your banners. Your signs are yours to take with you. We're opening the gates and starting with the Blackbrook entry. We are going to be sending you out to your right. Johnny Josephson making his way out first, followed by the entry of Gray Thunder Percherons. The Clark Family Orchard making their way out next, that beautiful purple wagon joining us from Colorado. Dutch Country Organics making their way out, joining us from Indiana with Mark Hostetler. And representing Oklahoma, we are going to say our final goodbye in this class to the entry of the Zubrod Percherons. Kenseth doing the driving. Our final entry to make their way out in heat number 3. Well, we are halfway through with our class, halfway through. And as you can see, we're all very fortunate that Ray has that card in hand, because it is a tough class. If we've not seen your winner yet, I tell you what, there are still 3 more sections to go. We hope you have your favorite. As soon as that aisleway is cleared, we're going to be bringing in our 4th heat. The 4th heat will be coming in. We do want to say a special thank you to our class sponsor, Yoder Sand and Gravel. Thank you so much, our sponsor of our Supreme 6-horse hitch. Heat number 4 making their way in. We are going to be led in by the boys from North Carolina. It is the Hunting Creek Farms entry with Mr. Chip Lawrence. We are going to take our attention back to Colorado, Longmont, Colorado, with the CCP Perch Runs. Wilbur Helmuth doing the driving. A Minnesota hitch, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Barsh family Perch Runs from Plainview, Minnesota, with Ryan exhibiting. Our Grays making their way in, traveling all across the country from New Hampshire to be here. It is the White Mountain Perch Runs. This is your final entry in this division on the rail at the trot. On the rail at the trot. We are going to be reversing. Pay attention to your, we are going to be reversing with the Hunter entry as you come around. Again, our drivers making that diagonal cut. It looks like they are going to go head to head against those opposing teams, but our very talented drivers pull to the right. That hitch finding their way on the wall, ultimately changing the way that everyone is traveling, giving our judge the opportunity to see both sides of these hitches. And we're going to come down to the walk drivers. We're going to bring you down to the walk. And we're going to take you back into the trot, please. All trot on, drivers. All moving back at the trot. This is their final lap. We're going to line up with the Hunter entry. Hunting Creek Farms coming into the lineup. Heat number 4 now in the center arena. Make them feel welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It just gets tougher and tougher for our judge as he now again has seen his next division. We still have 2 more groups to come, but we are going to pay our respect to those hitches in the arena. First in the lineup is the entry of Hunting Creek Farms, owned by Mr. Jason Hunter and family. Chip Lawrence doing the driving. This hitch traveling from North Carolina to be a part of our show. Next in the lineup, we're going to welcome the CCP Percherons, joining us from Longmont, Colorado, owned by Dr. Kirk Mitchell with Mr. Wilbur Helmuth, the driver. Next, from Plainview, Minnesota, we're going to be welcoming the Barsh Percherons, family owned and operated. Mr. Ryan Barsh doing the driving. And our final entry in this lineup is entry number 1262, the entry of White Mountain Percherons. They literally traveled all across this country. They came to us from New Hampshire to be a part of our Congress. That is the Hussey family with Justin exhibiting. Our judge making again those notes, making his decisions on this section. Two more groups to come. All right, we are opening the gates. We are going to start with Mr. Justin Hussey, making his way out to the right. Once again, taking everybody out with a nice round of applause. This was another fast-paced hitch. Just a little bit of trivia. The right lead horse on the Hussey hitch, this is his third World Congress that this horse has been a part of. You talk about sustaining our breed and keeping those horses sound and safe to be coming back in. We applaud those exhibitors. Barsh Percherons making their way out next from Plainview, Minnesota. CCP Percherons all the way from Colorado and making the trip from North Carolina. It is the entry of the Hunting Creek Farms with Chip Lawrence. All right, we have another great group. 5 entries will be coming back in for the next section. It will have an international flair as both hitches from the U.S. and Canada will be going for the gusto in heat number 5. Heat number 5 making their way through the gates. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask you to welcome from Ontario, Canada, the entry of the Wilson Farms. Mr. Bud Miller piloting these geldings owned by the Wilson family. From right here in Minnesota, Plainview, Minnesota, home to the Schreiber Perch Runs with Brad Schreiber. Silver Creek Farms making their way in next from Belle Plaine, Minnesota. Mr. Jamie Schubert on the lines for the Silver Creek entry. We are welcoming the entry of Blue Ribbon Days with Mr. Dean Woodbury doing the driving. Beisel Brothers making their way in representing Wisconsin with John exhibiting. On the rail at the trot, please. We will be reversing with the Wilson entry as they make their way around. We'll be starting that diagonal cut with Mr. Bud Miller. We're going to get our driver's space back out on the rail, and we're going to come to the walk. As you get moving to the walk, please all walk. And moving back at the trot, putting you back into that higher gear. All moving at the trot, please. Time to make some noise. This is their final lap. The Wilson entry will start our lineup as they come all the way down to Merv. This is our final lap as the Wilson entry will be coming into the lineup. Heat now, number 5 now in the arena. Let's make them feel welcome. It just seems like it's getting faster and harder in here in this arena. These hitches are making it very difficult for our judges, each and every one doing an excellent job. In the lineup first, down there on that far end, it is the entry of the Wilson Farms. Wilson Farms joining us from Ontario, Canada. Mr. Bud Miller doing the driving. Our judge reviewing, as I said before, the horses, the harness, the wagon, taking it all into account before asking for a back. Next in the lineup's the entry of the Schreiber Perch Runs, the Schreiber brothers, Brad and Clint. Brad doing the driving. They are joining us right here from the great state of Minnesota. Our third entry in this lineup is the entry of Silver Creek Farms, enjoying their first World Perch Run Congress with a 6-horse hitch. It is the Matt and Missy Fahey entry. They're joining us from Belle Plaine, Minnesota, with Mr. J.B. Schubert doing the driving. Our judge making his way past the entry of Blue Ribbon Days, owned by the Cleavies, the Days, and the Ditmars. Mr. Dean Woodbury, the manager and the driver this evening. And our final contestant in this division is entry 2322. It is the entry of Beisel Brothers Perch Runs, making the trip from Teresa, Wisconsin. That is John doing the driving. All right, once again, our Heat 5 made a great splash here in the arena. Our judge now going to be making notes on his card. As I said, the judging never stops. You'll see these exhibitors always looking over their shoulder to look to see where Mr. Houston is in the arena, always judging, always watching to see what's happening. On the rail, studying the action, the movement, the performance of these horses. In the lineup, looking at the conformation, the presence, of course, the foundation that these horses stand on. All right, we're going to open the gates, starting with the Beisel Brothers entry. We will send these entries out. Joining us from Wisconsin with John exhibiting our first entry, making their way out. Blue Ribbon Days making their way out with Dean and Allie on the seat. Mr. Jamie Schubert doing the driving for the Silver Creek Percheron entry. Mr. Brad Schreiber with his brother Clint on the seat making their way out next. Little hold up at the gate area, making sure everybody has plenty of room to get turned around out there. And our final entry to make their way out, Wilson Farms, representing Ontario, Canada, with Mr. Bud Miller. All right, one more section. Are you enjoying your evening so far, ladies and gentlemen? 40 years ago, we joined everyone here as we celebrated our World Perching Congress in St. Paul. 40 years later, we have evolved as an association, we have evolved as a breed, and we have 28 top 6 horse hitches gathered here to be crowned your champion. 5 more entries, 5 entries left for our judges' review. Our exhibitors working hard, the nerves are flying back there. Heat number 6 with 5 entries ready to make their way in. We are welcoming Arcola Ranch into the arena. This hitch, ladies and gentlemen, traveled all the way from Arizona to be a part of our Congress. Mr. Leon Yoder doing the driving. Next into the arena from Jordan, Minnesota, let's welcome the Ames Percherons with Mr. Travis Shaw exhibiting. Followed closely into the arena by the entry of Penwood Percherons from Center Hall, Pennsylvania, Mr. Chad Cole, the driver. Our final hitch is going to take us out west as they make their way in, representing Prince George, British Columbia. We are welcoming the ZD Pickering Farms entry with Mr. Tim Sparrow. And our final entry making their way down the chutes, ladies and gentlemen, from Little Jackson Hole, Wyoming, we are welcoming the Jackson Fork Ranch with Mr. Ross Hansberger. Drivers on the rail at the trot, this is your final division. Don't get quiet now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final go. Arcola Ranch will be starting our reverse with Leon. We are going to be reversing. And we're going to come down to the walk, please. Drivers, we're going to come down to the walk. And now we're going to put you back at the trot, please. All trot. All moving back at the trot. On their final lap, the Arcola entry is going to be lining up when you get down to Merv, starting with Arcola Ranch. Lining up, please. Ladies and gentlemen, they are powering strong and hard into that lineup. This is your final division. Let's take and make some noise for our final division. I tell you, when we talked at the beginning that there was going to be 6 heats, little did we know the power that we are going to see gracing the arena. Our first entry making their way into the lineup is the entry of Arcola Ranches. Arcola Ranches entry number 2808, joining us from Santan Valley, Arizona, Mr. Leon Yoder doing the driving. Your hometown team from Jordan, Minnesota, next in the lineup. Mr. Travis Shaw, the manager and the driver of the beautiful Pertron Geldings. Making the trip from the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, we are welcoming the Penwood Pertrons to the arena. Mr. Chad Cole doing the driving. Next in the lineup, the entry of ZD Pickering Family Farm, the Pickering family representing British Columbia with Mr. Tim Sparrow exhibiting. And our final entry in this division, the entry of Jackson Fork Ranch, representing Wyoming with Mr. Ross Hansberger doing the driving. In this class again, our judge looking for our best shod hitch and our most uniform horses from one stable. And now our judges' work begins. Our exhibitors have all performed in the arena. We have seen all 6 hitches. And now he is going to decide who he will be seeing back for a drive-off, how many drive-offs, who will be in it. Very, very important, as we will soon be crowning your world champion overall supreme 6-horse hitch. Each of these drivers and these horses gave it their all. And again, this is quite a journey that is coming to an end for the 26th World Percheron Congress. We're going to open the gates, starting with Ross. You will be making your way out to your right, out to your right. Jackson Fork Ranch making their way out first, followed by the ZD Pickering family entry. Penwood Percherons making their way out, followed by the Ames Percherons, and Arcola Ranch making their way out. Our judge is going to see 2 different drive-offs as we place this magnificent class. It's going to take a few minutes for everyone to get organized in the back and to get those hitches coming in and out. Also in this class, we're going to be awarding our best shod 6-horse hitch, our most uniform hitch from one stable. We'll award our best stalling award. We'll present our junior and senior youth champion awards. We'll crown our most versatile percheron, and we will award our premier exhibitor. We have lots to do in this class. It's going to be a few moments. I think it's time for us all to do a little participation with singing along. We have a song that all you have to really know is 3 words, and those 3 words are bump, bump, bump. We're going to see who's louder and prouder. The right half, split down the middle, or the left half. If you don't know the words, or your neighbor sitting with you don't know the words, share them. It's just bump, bump, bump. So we're going to turn it up. We're going to turn it over to Neil Diamond, and we are going to rock the Warner Coliseum. We all got to be cheerleaders. We got to be loud. Ready? Get ready. Get ready. Who's louder? I think my group over here is loud. All right, we got time. This group was the winner this time. We are going to welcome Mr. Enos Yoder and the Yoder Hay and Horse Company from Westcliff, Colorado. Next, we are welcoming Hunting Creek Farms from North Carolina with Mr. Chip Lawrence. We are welcoming Red Oak Farms Team USA with Mr. Jason Hansberger. Our fourth contestant is the entry of the Yoder Sand and Gravel from Stevensville, Montana, with Myron doing the driving. One more making their way from Pennsylvania. It is the entry of Penwood Percherons. Mr. Chad Cole on the seat. Drivers, this is your drive off on the rail at the trot, please. Mr. Enos Yoder going to be starting our reverse. Yoder Hay and Horse Company making their way into the reverse. Down to the walk, please. Drivers, we are going to walk our hitches. Our driver coming down to the walk. Our judge watching to see how quickly those horses respond. Back down to the walk. You get to hear that harness. You get to hear the drivers. And we're going to put you back into the trot. Drivers all now moving at the trot. All moving at the trot. This is their final lap as Mr. Enos Yoder will be starting our lineup. Starting our lineup with the Yoder family hay and horse entry with Enos. Pure Power making their way into the center arena. Ladies and gentlemen, your first drive off. Let's make some noise. Our drivers now kind of getting time to set those lines down and regroup and kind of rest those hands a little bit. We were powering on in this class. This is a huge arena. We are so fortunate to be here in St. Paul, Minnesota, where we were 40 years ago, and it's so nice to have visited with so many people that were back at that day. They were here showing, they were watching, exhibiting, and now they're back joining us again 40 years later. We are going to open the gates, and starting with Mr. Chad Cole, we're going to send these hitches out. One more time, they're going to make their way out of the arena. Mr. Chad Cole and the Pinwood Pertrons making their way out, followed by the Yoder Sand and Gravel entry with Myron Yoder. Mr. Jason Hansberger on the lines for the Red Oak USA. Mr. Chip Lawrence doing the driving for the Hunting Creek Farms, making the trip from North Carolina. And our leader of the pack in this division, Yoder Hay and Horse Company, joining us from West Cliff, Colorado with Mr. Enos Yoder. Again, we cannot give enough accolades to our crew working in the back, keeping these horses in and out safely. We have the opportunity to make it look smooth in here, but I'm sure a lot of traffic moving around, a lot of horsepower out there. All right, heat number 2 will be coming in. Heat number 2 going to have 5 entries as well. And our judge again, looking for our best shod hitch, our most uniform group of horses, all be presented in this class. Heat number 2 making their way in, ladies and gentlemen, it will be powerful as we welcome from Ontario, Canada, the entry of Wilson Farms, Mr. Bud Miller doing the driving. Making their way in next, Little Jackson, Hole, Wyoming, represented with the Jackson Fork Ranch. Mr. Ross Hansberger doing the driving. We're going to have a total of 5 entries in this drive-off, the Power Drive-Off, making their way in. Next, we're welcoming the entry of Blue Ribbon Days with Mr. Dean Woodbury. We're going to take it to the entry of Strawberry Lane Percherons with Mr. Brian Coleman. We have one more entry that will be coming. Are you happy with the drive-off so far? One more, and we're going to take it back to Canada when we welcome in the entry of the Pickering family representing British Columbia. This is your drive-off on the rail at the trot. We are making some adjustments, so we're going to get everybody moving, everybody spread out on the rail. All moving at the trot, please. All moving at the trot. The Wilson entry will be starting our reverse. Mr. Bud Miller starting our reverse. Two entries left to make our reverse. We're going to come down to the walk, drivers. We're going to bring you down to the walk. All walk these entries. Top-notch horses and top drivers here in the arena. We're going to put you back into the trot, drivers, all moving back at the trot. This is going to be their final lap. They're going to make their way around one more time, all moving at the trot, please. Wilson Farms will be starting our lineup. When you get around to Merv, drivers, we really must come in close and tight in this class. Drivers coming in close and tight. We're going to start with the Wilson entry, making our way into the lineup. Drivers in tight, please, in tight. What a powerful group, ladies and gentlemen. Our final drive of the 2026 World Percheron Congress 6-horse hitch. Our judge now making his decision. It is going to be tight. All right, if we see some of these hitches moving before we send anybody else in, we're going to get everybody lined up a little tighter. We have all 6 sections to bring back into the arena. All 6 will be coming back in. If you have your camera, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a Kodak moment. Our good friends from Summit and Michelle capturing both in the arena and outside. But this is your time to have your pictures taken, get your cameras out. Truly a moment as we welcome all of our 6-horse hitches back in. Again, we're going to send everybody around to get everybody parked a little tighter. We want to make sure everybody can get back in. Do we think that the Warner Coliseum has ever held 28 six-horse hitches? I don't know, but we are going to find out. We're going to see how many we can get back in the arena, get them all on the line. Getting them straight and tight is kind of the key, but this is also an opportunity for you to see our talented drivers. They are turning them around, getting them down in some tight spots. We just saved ourselves about 40 feet by getting these a little scrunched tighter, and we need to do that to keep in line to get all 32 entries in. All right, I think we're going to open the gate. We are going to be opening the gate. Again, our judge will be awarding our best shot hitch and our most uniform hitch. He's going to find his spot watching these come back in to get our final placings. Our ground crew is working through how to get all hitches back in, and we're going to do our best to get each and every one of them in there. You might have noticed on the back of some of our wagons, we have banners from our sponsors. Well, we do want to say a special thank you to each and every one of our sponsors. If you are a sponsor of our event and you see your large signage here, you are welcome to take that home. Our judges card almost turned in, so I feel it's very appropriate that we do mention our key sponsors. Our platinum sponsor of the show was Ames Construction and Ames Percheron. Ames Construction is a full-service, heavy civil and industrial contractor that brings innovative solutions to many market segments. From highway and bridge construction to rail, mining, industrial development, CCR and AMP, environmental and water sources. It was founded in 1962 as a small family-run earthwork contractor. Ames Construction now employs over 4,000 people with offices in Minnesota, Arizona, California, Colorado, Nevada, North Carolina, and Utah. So we say a special thank you. Ames Percheron Farm, located in Jordan, Minnesota, the equine ambassadors for the Ames Construction. That is, again, our platinum sponsor. We are going to start feeding our hitches into the arena. We're going to start feeding some of these hitches in. As I said, you're going to see some fancy driving. Our driver is going to fill those spots. We want to say a special thank you as well to our official photographer and videographers, that is Summit Professional Services of Indiana. They have been out here in every single class videoing and taking pictures of every horse. They are based in northern Indiana, dedicated to promoting the equine industry through photography, videography, graphic design, branding, and live stream production. Thank you to Summit Professional Services of Indiana. We'd like to give a shout out to our silver sponsor, Big Horse Wine and Beverage and Rustomere Stables. They are responsible for bringing our live stream to the World Percheron Congress. You can watch all of our classes all around the world, people watching and enjoying our Congress here in St. Paul, and that is from our friends at Rustomere Stable and Big Horse Wines and Beverages. Silver sponsors include Mid-America Draft Horse Sale. The Mid-America Draft Horse Sale is one of the premier draft horse auctions in North America, held annually in February in Gifford, Illinois. Their 31st annual sale this past year set records and set the bar high for our Percheron industry. If you're looking for your next show prospect, the Mid-America Draft Horse Sale is the place to be. Thank you going out to Vernon and Virgil from the Mid-America Draft Horse Sale. Bronze sponsors include Tripcrest. Tripcrest Farm began as a Holstein operation dabbling with Percherons on the side. Now it's all about the Percherons. Tripcrest Farm is located in the Western Hills of Maine, where they raise foals each year. Their favorite classes are always the filly foal classes. They like watching those horses grow and mature into appealing horses that you will see here in the Hitch class. We have a great group of enthusiasts from Holmes County, Ohio, that have been a tremendous supporter. They are gold sponsors. Our Holmes County Percheron enthusiasts include Breezy Meadow Farm, Hilltop Percherons, Hidden View Percherons, MRM Percherons, SF Percherons, Arbor Fit, Sugar Creek Farm, Mr. John Klein, Mount Hope Auction, Dublin Valley Farms, True Tone Stables, Eli Miller, Albert J. Miller, Double Creek Farms, Calmo Percherons, Alpine Valley Percherons, Springwater Farms, Sylvia Percherons, Freeman Jones and Mark Yoder, Stark Valley Percherons, Spring Hill Services, Trico with Wyman Yoder, and J.W. Percherons. They have supported our 6-horse hitch classes and our gold sponsors. Thank you to our friends in Holmes County. Recognizing our gold sponsor, Compassionate Concierge Physicians. Out of Longmont, Colorado, Dr. Kurt Mitchell founded Compassionate Concierge Physicians to revitalize wound care through high-tech advancement and personalized bedside care for in-home patients and long-term care facilities. His passion for elevating wound care is equal to his passion for the draft horses. We're honored to have the CCP Percherons with us here this year. We are getting tight on space. You see these drivers maneuvering these hitches around. coming in tight. I know we're going to have a lot of official photos of this, but my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, you have a tremendous seat here in the Warner Coliseum to see poetry in motion as our drivers make their way into the lineup. We are going to park a few of these hitches on the rail. We're going to continue to park them on the rail as we are getting tight on space at this time. So as you come around, drivers, pay attention. You will be staying on the rail. This is the most horsepower that has been in the Minnesota State Fair Warner Coliseum. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are lined up end to end. I think we're going to try to maneuver a few more around. Well, believe it or not, we still have 8 hitches to get in the arena. 8 more to make their way in. So you want to kind of scoot up. Wishy, if we could get you to move up, please. We are going to continue to move these hitches up. Okay, there are horses still coming in. Horses still coming in. I think the World Percheron Congress is kind of setting the internet on fire, getting all kinds of texts, people around the world watching, admiring our drivers and our horses. Two rows on that back side. 2 rows are making their way in. Each and every one of these hitches, their families, they deserve to be recognized. So we're doing our best to get everyone in. I would go up way high and get a picture. This is just amazing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is our turn to stand and salute these exhibitors. This is the most amazing sight that you will see as we welcome our 6-horse hitches into the arena. We salute our exhibitors, the families, the crowd. We so much appreciate each and every one of these hitches Again, their families making their way from all parts of North America. And it looks like our card is making its way to the stand. Again, we will be awarding our Best Shod Hitch Award. The Best Shod Hitch Award, sponsored by Miller Scott Shoes, Andrew Hirschberger and family. Miller Scott Shoes was founded in 2006 by Atlee Miller and transitioned the ownership in 2022 to Andrew and Esta Hirschberger. Their shoes are made out of U.S. steel and the toe clips are hand forged. They are here to help you achieve the best with your horses, whether they're sail toppers, show toppers, carriage horses, or farm teams. Miller Scotch Shoes is home to over 25 different styles of Scotch bottom shoes and a variety of pads and other products. Remember, they are there to meet your needs and exceed your expectations. If they don't have the shoe you need, they can possibly make it. Visit them in Ohio's Amish country or call them. All your draft horse shoeing needs available at Miller Scott Shoes. They thank each and every one of these hitches that use their product for their business, and we will be awarding our Best Shod Hitch on behalf of Miller Scotch Shoes. When it comes to the most uniform set of hitch horses owned by one stable, we want to say a special thank you to Bradley Glover. The Uniform Hitch Award is sponsored by Bradley because of his love for a quality group of horses that represent a show program. Bradley felt led to take part of the 2026 World Percheron Congress by supporting this honor. If you saw our Drive for the Cure class earlier, he was our reserve world champion. So a great supporter. Thank you, Bradley, for your support. The award for your Supreme Champion 6-horse hitch. This means, again, we're bringing the mares and the geldings together. Your Supreme sponsor and also a gold sponsor of our show is Yoder Sand and Gravel. They have been in operation for the past 10 years at the Bitterroot Valley of western Montana, offering a variety of products ranging from gravel, sand, topsoil, as well as landscape material. Yoder Sand and Gravel embodies the motto, big or small, we do it all. Calling Stevensville, Montana home, they strive to make customer service of their community the first priority. The Yoder Gravel Percheron act as equine ambassadors for the company, showing across the United States, exemplifying the quality and precision you will find incorporated in the business every day. Thank you so much to Jake and Franny Yoder and their family. Yoder Sand and Gravel are sponsors of your Supreme 6-horse hitch. Our judge making his final marks on that card. 32 entries. What a treat. If you think about the power, the horsepower, you think about the harness, the wagon, all of it coming into play in this class. When it comes down to those fine details, sometimes it's just splitting hairs when we have to make our placings. But we are going to crown your world champion. This will be, again, 40 years after we crowned our last champion in St. Paul, gathering here once again for your championship. Now, when this class is over, I remind you, we do have remaining classes left. We're going to see some of the cutest exhibitors coming in. Our Pee Wee Showman, for those exhibitors that are under 9 years of age. Then we're going to show the versatility and end with our farm team vehicles. And I believe we had 17 entries entered in that class. So again, showing the versatility, so much yet here to come for our World Percheron Congress. While we are waiting on our judges' results, we are going to introduce you to our world champion, most versatile perch run exhibited at our World Perch Run Congress. This is FF Victor, exhibited and owned by Brooke Ruggles. Victor is a 4-year-old gelding which Brooke purchased as a weanling, and she has done all of his training herself. Victor excels in Western riding and pleasure driving. He also competed in the feed team race and the log skidding to showcase his versatility. His most noteworthy awards were Champion Pleasure Driving Horse, Champion Trail Horse, and Champion Novice Rider, with Judy competing. Brooke and Judy are mother and daughter team who work well together and fit and show their perch runs. And this horse, Victor, our 4-year-old gelding, was the most competitive in halter, in hitch, riding, and pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, your most versatile perch run of our show, FF Victor with Brooke Ruggles. All right, we in this class are bringing our queens out to present our specialty awards. They said, we have to walk all the way there? Yes, you do. Ladies and gentlemen, your Best Shod Hitch Award, sponsored by Miller Scott Shoes, is going to go to the entry of ZD Pickering. Mr. Tim Sparrow. Best Shod Hitch. And let me just tell you a little bit about that hitch. And when you talk about keeping them sound and keeping that foundation strong with their shoeing, it has been less than a week ago that we were all in the Calgary Stampede in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The night after the 6, Tim got the horses all loaded, and they made that 25-hour trip to Minneapolis. They got in a day late, but they showcased their horses in Calgary, and they came here and been very competitive at our World Perch Run Congress. And so to have this honor of Best Shod Hitch, what a tribute to the shoeing and the farrier work. Congratulations. And next, we're going to award your most uniform set of hitch horses from one stable. This class sponsored by Mr. Bradley Glover. Ladies and gentlemen, your most uniform set of horses, congratulations to Strawberry Lane Percherons. Mr. Greg Lurvey and his family, with Mr. Brian Coleman, the manager, congratulations. All right, we are going to start our placings. Now, we have done our best to get our first out on the rail. If you're not always in the order, we're going to make sure that you just stay where you are until we can safely get you out of the arena. Our awards in this class for the physical awards will start at 10th place. So all placings below 10th Our queens will be there to acknowledge you, but the awards will start at 10th place. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, the awards starting now. In 28th position will be entry number 1420. That is the Blackbrook Percherons. They join us from Clear Lake, Indiana. Mr. John Josephson doing the driving. That hitch is kind of stuck behind one. So we're going to go ahead and call out number 28. I'm sorry, Wisconsin. We are going to call out number 27. That is Beisel Brothers. They're joining us from Teresa, Wisconsin. Number 2322. John exhibiting. So those are in reverse order, but for safety, we're going to take them out. First out for 27th, the Beisel Brothers Percherons, 27th. 28th place again was Clear Lake, Wisconsin with Blackbrook Percherons. In 26th position will be 2429 Barsh Percherons from Plainview, Minnesota. Mr. Ryan Barsh doing the driving. '25th is going to go to the entry of Pittman Percherons, making their way from Claremont, Minnesota. Mark Pittman and his family, great supporters of our World Percheron Congress. That will be our 25th. So we're going to try to get those two hitches safely out. As I said, you're going to see some very fancy driving as our drivers maneuver around the arena. The Pittmans making their way out first. Barsh making their way out too. Barsh, the 26th position, Pittman's 25th. In 24th position, number 2442, Red Oak Farms, Canada, with Mr. Wishy Bush doing the driving. This hitch representing Quebec. Your 23rd spot, number 3012, that is the entry of Silver Creek Farm from Plainview, Minnesota, just down the road. That is the entry of Matt and Missy Fahey with Jamie Schubert exhibiting. Belle Plaine. We're going to go to number 22. That is 2263 Silver Oak Percherons from Vernon, Manitoba. Mr. Ethan Strain doing the driving. Making that turn here at the bottom of the lineup. Again, Silver Creek Farm making their way out of the gate now from Belle Plaine, Minnesota. Jamie Schubert, the driver for the Fahey family, making their way out. Silver Oak Percherons making their way around the top. They are joining us from Vernon, Manitoba. Ethan Strain doing the driving for the Silver Oak Percherons. In 21st place today, number 1485, Gray Thunder Percherons, joining us from Mokina, Illinois. That is the entry of the Wilcox family. Josh doing the driving of our Gray Percherons. In 20th position, entry number 2611, the Ground Pounders Percherons, brought to us by the Fagan family from Granite Falls, Minnesota, with Joe Dolan. Joe and Dakota on the seat, making their way out, representing the Ground Pounder Percherons. In 19th position, number 2808, Arcola Ranch from Santan Valley, Arizona, with Mr. Leon Yoder. In 18th position today, number 3555, that is the Flat Rock Draft Horses, joining us from Bellevue, Ohio. The Rowe brothers, Greg and Mike, with Greg doing the driving. In 17th position today, entry number 1871. That is the entry of the Clark Family Orchards, making the trip from Colorado. Dennis and Stacy Clark, the owners, Mr. Scott Banga doing the driving. In 16th place, number 1384, the entry of Schreiber Percherons, joining us from Plainview, Minnesota, with Mr. Brad Schreiber and his brother Clint. We are going to be moving into your top 15 entries, ladies and gentlemen. In 15th position, number 1254, the entry of the Ames Percherons from Jordan, Minnesota, Mr. Travis Shaw doing the driving. We are now going to move into our 14th position. That is entry number 1310, the entry of Zoo Broad Percherons, joining us from Guthrie, Oklahoma, with Miss Kenzeth Zubrod doing the driving. Let's give this talented young lady a nice round of applause, our Percheron mares. We're getting more space on the rail. We're going to be making sure everyone now parked on the rail. In 13th position, number 2849, that is the entry of Dutch Country Organics. Joining us from Middlebury, Indiana, Mr. Mark Hostetler doing the driving. In 12th place today, the award is going to go to number 2693, the CCP Percherons, joining us from Longmont, Colorado, with Wilbur Helmuth doing the driving. In 11th place today, entry number 1262, the entry of White Mountain Percherons all the way from North Conway, New Hampshire. That is the Hussey family, with Justin doing the driving, his daughter Allie at his side. We are now working on our drive off, our top 10 in the arena. We are bringing our beautiful queens into the arena. our Queen Mackenzie, assisted by Jada Lynn, Sophia, and Bethany. These young ladies have done an outstanding job of representing our Percheron Association. They are beautiful, very talented young ladies. Mr. Freeman Yoder out there to help with the presentation of the award. In the top 10, ladies and gentlemen, the spotlight going to number 1375, Red Oak Farms USA with Jason Hansberger. In ninth place, the award going to number 1413, Penwood Percherons from Center Hall, Pennsylvania. Mr. Chad Cole doing the driving. In eighth place today, the award going to entry number 1260, the entry of Blue Ribbon Days. Mr. Dean Woodbury doing the driving of your eighth place overall award, owned by the Cleavies, the Days, and the Ditmars, and managed by the Woodbury family. In seventh place, entry number 2404, Yoder Sand and Gravel, making the trip from Stevensville, Montana with Myron Yoder. Thank you going out to Jake, Franny, and the entire Yoder family. They have been a great addition to our World Show, and we appreciate they are the sponsors of this Supreme class. In sixth place today, the honors going to number 2698, Strawberry Lane Percherons, owned by the Lurvy family. Mr. Brian Coleman doing the driving. Strawberry Lane Percherons, the equine ambassadors for the scleroderma awareness. Brian gonna turn it around tight down there on the corner. Very talented drivers. As he spins that around, ladies and gentlemen, your sixth place award, Strawberry Lane Percherons. In fifth place, the award today going to number 1471, Yoder Hay and Horse Company from West Cliff, Colorado. Mr. Enos Yoder exhibiting. As we move into your top four, ladies and gentlemen, your fourth place today is going to go to entry number 1828, going home to North Carolina with the Hunting Creek Farms. Jason Hunter and family with Mr. Chip Lawrence, the driver. In third place today, the award is going to go to entry number 1771, Jackson Fork Ranch, joining us from Little Jackson Hole, Wyoming with Ross Hansberger. And then there were two. As your announcer, it has been an extreme pleasure to work with each and every one of these hitches. And now to be able to announce your reserve and your world champion, what an honor. We are going to let Jackson Fork get their award from our beautiful queens. The anticipation is rising. In the arena, two outstanding hitches. Ladies and gentlemen, your reserve champions today, number 1506, the Pickering family. ZD Pickering Family Farms, representing Prince George, British Columbia, under the guidance of Mr. Tim Sparrow, his wife Brittany. They traveled, as I said, all the way from Calgary to St. Paul, and they are going out your reserve world champions. Tim and Brittany and their family devote their lives to the Percheron horse and to bringing a show into every arena that they enter. As they make their way around, ladies and gentlemen, your reserve world champion, ZD Pickering Family Farm, with Mr. Tim Sparrow and his wife Brittany. We are going to pin the sash on that lead horse, pin the sash on the lead horse. What a feat, 32 entries. They are your reserve world champions. What a feat it has been. Tim, if you would like to take one more pass around, what a class, your reserve world champion. We're going to allow Tim and Brittany to make one more pass around. Beautiful turnout of the black geldings. They deserve their one more look. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in second in a class of this size is no small feat. Your reserve world champion, Tim Sparrow, with the ZD Pickering Family Farm. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 2026 World Percheron Congress, we are pleased to announce your world champion Supreme six-horse hitch going home to Ontario with the Wilson Farms. Mr. Bud Miller doing the driving. What a drive he had. He came in his heat. He was on full speed, came back in that drive off, and there was no touching him. They are making their way around as they represent Van Cleek Hill, Ontario, Canada, and they are your world champions. You see that great group of folks over there in the Wilson booth. We're going to get everyone down for a picture. If you want to come in for your picture, this family spends their life promoting the Percheron horses. They are going to climb up on the seat. Bud Miller, the driver, the manager, Kevin, his wife Maria, their children, Ian, all making their way into the arena. What a great, great victory for a great group of folks. On behalf of Yoder Sand and Gravel, we are going to be capturing that picture and presenting our championship award to Wilson Farms. Everybody say, we're going to Disney World. We're not going to Disney World. Our friends at Summit have captured the award. We're going to get all that family climbed in the back. They have participated in all of our classes, our hitch classes, our youth classes. They are, again, true supporters of our Percheron industry. Not enough nice things to say about this family. And so honored to have them reigning as your world champion Supreme six-horse hitch. Mr. Bud Miller, the arena is yours, my friend. As they make their way around, ladies and gentlemen, let's salute Wilson Farms. And ladies and gentlemen, just a bit of trivia. Mr. Bud Miller has been a world champion now with each and every breed he's taken into the arena. He has taken the Wilson Farms Hitch and he has brought them to St. Paul with one mission, and today they achieved that mission. They are going out as your world champions in the Supreme 6-horse hitch. All breeds coming together. What a magnificent show. I know Kevin and Ian cheering on, so proud of the bunch of horses they have put together. As the gates go open and they make their final pass down that Blue Ribbon Championship Drive, ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for the boys from Ontario. One hand wonder with Mr. Bud Miller.